Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to call together this formal meeting of the Northern Michigan University Finance Committee. Today is December 12th, and it is 4 p.m. on the dot. With us today, we have Finance Committee members Trustee Sepinen, Trustee LaPointe Dunham, ex officio NMU Board Chair Steve Young, and President Brock Tessman. Also present are other members of the Board of Trustees who will listen in but not participate. We do have 4 items on the agenda today, and with that, I will turn this over to Gavin Leach.
Hello, Alexis. Welcome, everybody. First on the agenda, we have Jill Compton to go over the internal audit report. And I'll turn it over to her now.
Thank you, Gavin. Is this on? Not quite. There, is that better? You have 2 items in front of you today from internal audit. The first is your regular open audit issues report. You'll see on the November snapshot for open audit issues that we have a new audit to report. I completed the conflict of interest audit working with Joe Umbrello in purchasing. That audit revealed that the controls in place were sufficient, but we together identified some data that we could add to the regular reports that Joe prepares. So we will work together with the Controller's Office to add service contracts to the conflict of interest reports. Also, Joe Umbrello did receive information about this Board of Trustees and the Foundation Board of Trustees, but that information was not added to the regular reports submitted to management, so he will amend those reports and include Board of Trustees data on the regular reports issued to management. And in addition to that, Joe will be working on amending the conflict of interest policy to include those new provisions. The other item on the open issues report is a continuing item. There are safety protocols for domestic travel with students. My name is attached to that because there are many departments and areas in the university that are affected by that, and so I am wrangling those issues and getting them together along with our wonderful IT department. We are working to take some existing reports and have there be one process for reporting domestic travel rather than having several processes and people having to know which application or which place to enter that data. So that item will continue until we're complete with that, but we have received feedback from stakeholders and believe that we're on target to complete that soon. Any questions about the open issues report?
Jill, this is probably obvious, but there's nothing that's not on here that wouldn't be open, so everything else has been closed.
Yes. Yes, it remains for a full report after it's closed, so you'll always see a completed status for one report, and then it drops off after the board has been notified that something is complete.
Okay. And I do believe that this will require a motion to accept the report as written. Do we have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion that we accept the report as written.
Okay, any discussion?
And I'll support.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Thank you.
My last meeting.
Last meeting, she's using the gas.
Frisky.
The second item you have before you is the proposed audit plan for 2025. In this December meeting, I always report to you a reconciliation between what I promised to do last year and what I actually got done during the year. You'll see that in 2024, I completed just a little over 85% of the audits that I promised for you. The item that I did not complete was the payroll audit, and we'll carry that forward to 2025. It will be completed in 2025. The other items that we've identified on a risk basis that should be reviewed this year are Title IV of the Higher Education Act, research and sponsored programs controls, housing and residence life controls, safety training, and State of Michigan boilerplate requirements. Any questions about the proposed audit plan?
No questions here? Craig? Bridget? No?
That's all?
All right, well, we'll need to accept that plan, right?
On the audit?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the plan as written?
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion to accept the plan as written.
Support.
Discussion? No discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Jamie and Rebecca, you guys should probably come up front. So, ready to go over the CPB audit? Next on the agenda. So, Jamie and Rebecca are here from Northern that do the audit, and online with us we have Michelle Fowler, and I'm not sure if Kadra Kaczynski is going to be joining. Just so you know, Michelle, as part of the regular partner rotation at Raymond, she'll be the partner on. She's a partner on this job as well as she'll be the partner on next fall's audit. She had done ours about 5-6 years ago on the prior rotation, and she'll be starting up again, and this was the first audit she has underway for this. And last year it was Anderson Tackman, but Raymond's doing all the audit now on it. So I'll turn it over to you, Michelle, if you want to lead off.
And Gavin, this is Kedra. I am
Oh,
here
okay.
as well. My video is showing up. I was going to try and share my screen. I think it's going to let me.
Okay, thank you, Kadra.
Let me know if you can't see it in your live stream, and I can do that. And Kadra, I could drive the presentation, and then we can both.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Can
can
you
see
see
it.
it there?
Yep.
Perfect.
All right,
Okay.
go ahead, Michelle. Or Kadra.
Yep, I can go ahead. So thank you for having us today. As Gavin mentioned, this is the first year that we audited the TV and FM stations. We did provide copies of those financial statements, draft form, and we plan to issue those today after this meeting and once we get approval from the Finance Committee. Overall, we had a clean, unmodified opinion for the financial statements as of June 30th, 2024. This includes, this screen shows the TV station statement of net position, as well as the statement of revenue, expenses, and changes in net position. Overall, you can see that total assets is $6.7 million. Total liabilities were $60,000, and overall total net position was $6.6 million. Looking at the right side of the screen, the statement of revenues and expenses, total operating revenues were $2.4 million. Total operating expenses were $1.7 million. So overall operating income was $859,000 with $13,000 of investment income. So overall, it was an increase in net position of $662,000. There was an increase in salaries and wages and program costs, which drove the increase of the total operating expenses. Next is the statement of net position and the statement of revenue and expenses and changes in net position for FM. Overall, total assets were $1.4 million. Total liabilities were $48,000, and total net position was $1.3 million. Looking at the right side of the screen, you can see that total operating revenue was $846,000. Total operating expenses were $401,000, and this decrease was primarily related to the MIPSERS credit. So salaries and wages decreased due to the MIPSERS credit. And so total operating income was $445,000, investment income of $3,000. So overall, an increase in net position of $448,000. Moving on to our management letter that we provide to those charged with governance. Overall, there was no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, and no control deficiencies that were required to communicate in writing to you. With it being our first year audit, there were just a couple of past adjustments, which are indicated here, both for TV and FM. Overall, as of June 30th, 2024, all of these adjustments were flushed through and have been corrected. And really overall, just a reminder too, this is a department of Northern Michigan University. So our materiality levels are so low for this department. And again, we appreciate being here. Any questions that you guys have for us?
Maybe a question for Gavin. Gavin, this is the first year we've done this audit. Is there something that precipitated?
No, we've always had Anderson Tackman had done it quite a few years, and then they no longer had the ability to continue with some changes in the federal requirements, and so we needed to use an audit firm that had that expertise to be able to handle all the federal requirements of the audit, and so that's why we're just doing it this year.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah.
Okay, this will require a motion to accept the report as written.
And Madam Chair, I'd like to make that motion to accept the report as written.
Do we have a second?
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you. And we'll have these financial statements issued later today and released tomorrow to management. And again, it was a lot of hard work on NMU, you know, Gavin, Jamie, Rebecca, especially with it being a first year engagement. So we appreciate all of their help and support in getting the audit done.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, thanks, Michelle and Kadra.
Thank you.
Jamie and
Thanks.
Rebecca, great job on it, as usual.
That was easy.
Okay. Have a great day.
Bye.
I think next up, we've got the budget update. We won't need action on this, so it's just an
I
update.
think I turned. So right now, you have our financial indicators for the year. You can see in all revenue categories, we're on target or slightly ahead of target. It's in your materials. The tuition and fees is about $100,000 above target right now in the fall, so we'll have to see how the winter semester goes. Dining services is running further ahead, about $800,000, and that's primarily due to students. Well, first of all, we have a lot more students living on campus, but number two is students are taking the highest level meal plan in greater quantities, and so that's pushed some of the revenue up higher. It pushes up some of the expenses higher too associated with that, but that's been a positive sign. Residence halls, again, are ahead of budget as a result of basically over assign on this year's residence halls, and apartments are full, so so they're just slightly ahead of target for the year. So overall, for the fall semester, pretty positive signs on the overall outlook for the year. Our expectation is we'll remain in this position throughout the rest of the year, but you know, we always wait until the winter semester to see how things turn out. But right now, very good shape for the fiscal year. Any questions on those?
All very positive. Thank you.
Yeah. Next up, I'll give an update on facilities. I think it's on the screen. I'll take a little update on Hardin Hall renovation as well as the science complex. Jim and Kathy may as well come up in case you have any real detailed questions there. Don't ever forget you guys. I see you twice to three times a week. So first up, we have Hardin Hall. We drove by there on our recent tour. You can see it's pretty well underway. It's sort of been split up into two sides, east and west, and they're at different phases in the construction during that time period. A lot of the steel installation has begun on the west side. They're putting up drywall and finished some drywall on some of the east side, and The project seems to be moving on target for a completion and opening next year, next fall.
Yeah, so we'll
The end of
finish in
fall,
the winter
right, yeah,
semester,
yeah.
but the move will be over the holiday break.
One big thing that'll be happening next week, Jim, is the cutout for the grand stairwell.
Yeah, we're preparing for that right now.
So any other points on that project you guys want to mention?
It's moving well. That picture that you see where it says Student Art Gallery, that was taken a week ago today. I was over there yesterday, and right now, in this picture, you see exposed ceilings. There's actually ceiling grid in there now, lights dropped in. In that area where they're working, they are really moving.
So again, moving forward on target on that project, and will be a great facility when done. We'll keep you updated on it as we go. This picture was taken like a week or week and a half ago, and you can see the glass starting to be put on. The glass is, I think, finished now. This is moving on target, and they plan to be done July. Is that right? July 25?
We'll be done May or June.
May or June? Okay. So
Really moving.
that'll give the science areas plenty of time to move into their labs and get them prepared for the fall for the students. Again, this project, a $14.6 million project, is moving along on target. And don't see, knock on wood, don't see any problems at this time with completion.
Gavin, I have to say, I'm just so amazed. It seems like it was just a short time ago where we toured the labs over there and said something needs to be done.
Yeah.
To be at this point, it really feels like it's maybe a year at the most, but it must have been longer than that.
Yeah, I don't think it was too much longer. It was about a year and a half ago, I think, that we took. Yeah, 2 years. 2 years now, yeah.
The speed is just amazing.
We were ordering steel this time last year.
Next up, College of Business. We just got the DTMB letter of approval to Representative Price this week, and we hope to have the full authorization to move forward. In your materials, you'll see we're asking for approval of design fees for $835,000 to continue the progress we're making on planning for the project. With that approval, when do we start? May 26th would probably be the start of construction, Jim, based on the timing with the state of Michigan. And we expect that to happen. And again, we put the recommendation in for continued architectural design on this project. This is a new conceptual rendering you hadn't seen yet. We continue to work on it, but we wanted to give you a glimpse of what the latest thinking was on it, and I think it could be a pretty exciting project over there, and really reshape from 7th Street looking in, and then the lookout into the academic mall could be pretty cool, creating a new gateway into the mall area.
I like the design. It has its own character.
Yeah,
It's unique.
Very, very
Yeah.
catchy.
So anyway, that's overall it'll be a $19.9 million project, but just we're looking for design fees right now in the recommendation.
That'll get us up through bidding.
Yeah.
Bidding.
Yeah. So the next one, as we've been talking about, I don't know how long we've been talking about with you on new apartments for the students, but we do plan to move forward on building new student apartments, and there'll be some apartments designated for faculty and staff in the facility. Right now, the plan is for about 384 beds in the facility. Overall, it would be approximately a $55 million project. It would be a mixture of studio, 2-bedroom, and 4-bedroom apartments in the building. And again, this would be in relationship with our Gray Star partnership and expanding that into the apartment area. We feel pretty good about the project now. We've run pro forma numbers to make sure that these are types of projects where the revenues have to support the project. So that's the utmost importance in being able to move forward on it. We feel pretty confident on that now, and so we're looking for a recommendation that you'll see in the projects over $250,000 for design development and construction management services, which would bring us up to the point of construction and full development of that project. So that will come next. And so anyway, we continue to look at a design for it. We've looked at a number of them now, and that'll be vetted out over the next year here. When we look at probably going out for bonds in, June, July time period, and break ground in September of '25. So this coming September. So 2-year construction period, so they would be open prior to the fall of '27 semester. So Brock and Jeff and I got a chance to talk to NMU one night, and it seems like years ago, but it was a couple months ago, right? They were really excited about this project, and so I think the students are clamoring for it right now. Jeff, when you say that, that's yeah.
We had a 75% return rate on the survey that went out for 2 weeks in November, right before Thanksgiving, which tells us, we had great feedback from it related to rent tolerance and just, apartment design, and that 75% tells me students are looking to weigh in and that they're excited about something like this.
So yeah, in the formals, there'll be a recommendation for those fees of $3,475,000. And next, we have Wildcat Way. I think, we've shared this with campus quite a bit, and we just wanted to share it with the board, the final version of it. And again, these are areas on campus that would be developed on an opportunity basis of funding. Like, as we do College of Business, you'd have a portion of it done during that project. We're looking to talk to Graystar on starting some of the development in the apartment zone for the students, and so beyond that, it would just be based on the opportunity for funding for doing each of the zones as we move along. So it's really a multi-year type thing for doing this type of project. Some of it also included our landscape master plan, and so doing different materials in our landscaping, some no-mow areas, some different types of growth of, maybe Jim can talk about that a little bit here.
Sure. So he talks about no-mow, and historically for NMU, no-mow has been just, let's stop mowing. And it grows up, and after time, it looks like you're not mowing. No-mow moving forward would be a little different. There's actually turf products that are called no-mow. They're essentially a heavy fescue, and they're green, they look like turf, but you just let them grow long. And they get 6-8 inches, and then they kind of stop and lay over. So you still have that look of a turf, but the maintenance associated with it, you don't have to mow it, you just let it go.
And then as you move, so you'd have more clean-cut surfaces towards the middle of campus. On the edge, you'd have more no-mow. And then as you move further away, it would be
Hierarchy, yep.
Yeah. Yes, there's a hierarchy of landscaping, which, from a sustainability perspective is very positive for the campus, and it's part of what we're trying to accomplish as a university. So I thought that fit in quite well with this plan. So any questions on that?
You indicated it'll be an iterative process to get everything completed, starting as early as the College of Business. What's the trajectory for, are you thinking like 7 years, 8?
Yes, yeah, like this is more like a 7-year type plan, and as we upgrade various areas, we'll work on those. Or as funding comes through donors or whatever other way, we'll take that money and be able to accomplish portions of the project. But we have a roadmap for doing it now, so that's the important part. All right. So next, the projects over 250 that were within this presentation would be the Northern Enterprise Center, the College of Business, $835,000 for design fees, and new student housing for design development construction fees of $3.475 million, and that I would need a motion for.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion that, to recommend to the board that we approve the projects over $250,000.
Support.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kathy and Jim.
We have our marching orders.
Now the work
Never-
begins,
never
right?
a dull moment.
We're happy though.
And then the final item is the liquor licenses that we have to approve. We have 3 liquor licenses, one for the senior show for the School of Art and Design, Dancing with Our Stars, the UP Hospice Foundation, and the Drag Cabaret at Forrest Roberts Theater. So I would need a motion from the board for those.
I'll make the motion to recommend to the board approve the temporary liquor license.
Do we have a second?
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And one final note is, Alexis, this is your last meeting, and as chair of, and last meeting on the board, but also as chair of the Finance Committee, I just want to say it's been great working with you. You do a great job, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Gavin, and I do want to take a second just to thank you and then also the very hardworking team that makes all of these amazing things happen. You know, I was reflecting on what this campus looked like 8 years ago, and it was a different university. And I know that this has been a very easy committee to chair. You know, Gavin, working with you from the very beginning when I got on the board, it's evident that you have, you know, very strong integrity, as does your team. You are a great steward of our finances. You find ways to spend it as quickly as you grow it, which is good. It's being spent well. So I want to thank you and your team very much. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you, Alexis. Yep. All right, I think that's it then.
With
Gonna
that,
put the gavel down?
I will adjourn this meeting of the Northern Michigan University Board of Trustees Finance Committee.
Thank you.
Thank you.